Ravi had always dreamed of working with animals, but he never imagined he would form such a deep bond with one in particular, a little monkey named Kiki. Ravi worked at a wildlife rescue center in the heart of India, a place dedicated to rehabilitating injured and orphaned animals before releasing them back into the wild. Kiki had been brought to the center as a baby, clinging to life after poachers had taken her mother. The tiny monkey was weak, afraid, and barely moved. Ravi had been the one to care for her, feeding her tiny pieces of fruit, wrapping her in warm cloth at night, and speaking to her in soothing tones until she finally trusted him. Over the years, Kiki became more than just another rescued animal. She was family. Ravi knew the ultimate goal was to release her when she was ready, but deep inside, he dreaded the day he would have to say goodbye. One fateful morning, the unthinkable happened. Ravi arrived at the rescue center as usual, expecting to see Kiki swinging from the low branches or playing with the other monkeys. But she was nowhere to be found. Panic shot through him as he searched every corner of the enclosure. The gate to her habitat was slightly ajar, its lock broken. "She's missing," Ravi shouted, his voice trembling with fear. The other caretakers gathered, worry etched on their faces. The center was surrounded by thick jungle, making it easy for a small, agile monkey to disappear into the vast wilderness. But something about the broken lock sent a chill down Ravi's spine. This wasn't an accident. Someone had taken Kiki, or let her out on purpose. Ravi refused to waste a second. He grabbed his backpack, filled it with bananas and a small blanket that carried his scent, and set off into the dense jungle. The sun blazed above, filtering through the thick canopy as Ravi pushed through vines and tall grass, calling Kiki's name. "Kiki, where are you, girl?" he called, his voice echoing through the trees. The jungle was alive with sounds, the rustling of leaves, the chirping of birds, the occasional distant roar of a tiger. But there was no sign of Kiki. Hours passed, then a whole day. Ravi refused to give up, setting up a small camp by a riverbank where he knew Kiki often played when they ventured outside the enclosure together. As the night crept in, fear settled in his chest. The jungle was unforgiving, and Kiki had never fully adapted to the wild. But there was something else, a gnawing feeling that he was not alone. He could feel eyes watching him from the shadows, an unsettling presence lurking just beyond his sight. Had the poachers returned? Was Kiki in danger? Morning came, and Ravi continued his search. His legs ached, and his throat was dry, but he didn't stop. Every tree he passed, every rustling bush, filled him with hope that he might see her little face peeking out at him. Then he spotted something, a small, tattered piece of cloth stuck to a thorny branch. It was from Kiki's blanket. His heart pounded. She had been here. Then, on the third day, he heard it, a familiar chittering sound. His heart pounded as he turned toward the noise. Perched on a tree branch, just a few feet away, was Kiki, staring at him with wide eyes. "Kiki," Ravi breathed, overwhelmed with relief. He reached into his bag and pulled out a banana, extending it toward her. "Come here, girl. Let's go home." But something was different. Kiki hesitated, looking from Ravi to the trees behind her. That was when Ravi noticed them, a small group of monkeys watching silently. Kiki had found a family in the wild. Ravi's heart ached. He had long known this was supposed to be her future, but seeing it unfold before him was bittersweet. He took a slow step forward. "You found where you belong," he said softly. Kiki chittered again, then leaped down from the tree and ran toward him, wrapping her tiny arms around his leg. Ravi knelt and hugged her gently. Tears pricked his eyes as he stroked her soft fur. "It's okay," he whispered. "I'll always love you, no matter where you are." After a few moments, Kiki pulled away and looked back at her new family. She hesitated before bounding toward them, but not without one last look at Ravi. He smiled through the pain. "Go on, girl." Kiki disappeared into the trees, and Ravi stood there, watching until she was completely gone. As he turned to make his way back, he couldn't shake the eerie feeling that someone, or something, was still watching him. He quickened his pace, his heart pounding. Back at the rescue center, he reported what had happened. To his surprise, the staff discovered footprints near the broken lock. Human footprints. Someone had been there that night. Had they been after Kiki? Or had they been after something more? The mystery of who had let Kiki out would remain unsolved. But one thing was clear. Kiki had chosen her destiny. She was safe. She was free. And in the end, that was all that mattered. As Ravi lay in bed that night, exhausted but at peace, a single thought crossed his mind. Love meant letting go when the time was right. But the jungle had its own secrets, and some mysteries were never meant to be solved.